Have you ever wondered what 1,000 horses looks like on the beach? They'll be here this weekend. We'll tell you all about it coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Radisson Plaza Hotel, Myrtle Beach. We're focused on the 22nd annual Jack Monroe American Heart Association's Ride-a-thon. And we're visiting with Don Perry Sr., the President and Chief Executive Officer of Lakewood Camping Resort and the Founding Director of the South Strand Bank Group, Sunbank. Good morning.
Thank you, sir.
Don, thanks so much for coming in today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the invitation.
It's so exciting to think, obviously, this is the second year of all these riders that are out there today and are getting ready for tomorrow's ride. All these riders out at Lakewood Camping Resort. It's so exciting that you all have opened the doors to let these riders from all over the country in.
Well, it's really going to be a big event. I think we have nearly 900 campsites already rented, and I'm wondering where I'm going to put my regular campers. It's going to look like little Colorado when you get in that.
Oh, yeah. Golly. Well, rain.
Beautiful.
I know. Rain or shine tomorrow, it's still going to be an amazing event, and the riders will be out there. Now, did you ride last year?
No. My son Paul and his wife ride. His wife is a big horse person, and my little granddaughter Brennan, she loves to ride horses. But no, I don't take into riding.
I saw you last year on that Friday night, I think right before the ride. There was a costume contest, and you were out there getting pictures, and I think your granddaughter was out there as one of the costume folks. I remember talking to you and learning a little more about Lakewood, which is something that I sure want to make sure the viewers have a chance. How about yourself, Don? Are you originally, your family here, originally all from the area?
Well, my mother and father were from Columbia, and then they moved to to Lake City, South Carolina. And then in June of '57, we moved to Myrtle Beach. And so
how did Lakewood Camping Resort get its start?
When we moved to Myrtle Beach, my dad built a mobile home development called Beechwood Estates. And he was sort of motivated by seeing the long lines from the state park, because our place was right across from the state park, of people waiting to get in, having to spend the night on the streets. So he added 80 sites initially in the back part of Beechwood, and we called it Camp Beechwood. That was very successful from the very first day it filled up, and it grew to about 125 sites. And the following year is when we purchased the oceanfront property from Dr. Platt at Lakewood Plantation, and that's where we got the name Lakewood for Lakewood Camping Resort, because it was part of Lakewood Plantation.
Now, Dr. Platt had other properties very close to you. He
owned that plantation. Was huge. It used to go, as best I remember, almost down to where the flea market is, and I may not be correct on that, and almost back to the Intracoastal Waterway.
Is that right?
And it was a huge tract of land. I don't know how many acres it was. Some have said it was an old King's Grant. I'm not sure what it was or what. Probably was not. But it was a beautiful piece. We used to hunt there as children.
So obviously it was Beechwood that grew from 80 to 125. But how many campsites did the original campground at Lakewood have?
I think combined we had about, it seems like we used to advertise around 500. I think it was about 250 at both of them at the time. And in those days, you counted the mobile home park and the campsites. Everybody did, because if it was empty, you rented it to a camper.
Now, Beechwood is still there. It's right next to the...
Beechwood is still there. We tore down the old development, and now it's more of a retirement community.
Right next door to Seagate Village.
Right. It's a beautiful place. For those that haven't been in, they need to come see it.
As the second generation of Perrys to manage Lakewood Camping Resort, are there family traditions that you seek to maintain as a part of the Lakewood experience?
Well, I think that if I had a family tradition that I would like to see continued, would be the fact that of the tradition of Lakewood being a Christian-oriented family camping resort, a place where where Dad likes to be with his mother, with the mother of the children and the children, where they enjoy coming. I'd like to keep that tradition, keeping it a family campground.
Absolutely. And we speak about the family campground. What kind of campsites does Lakewood provide now?
It's a far cry from the beginning. In the beginning, we had the first water and electric and sewer and paved streets in the campsite. As we know, really on the East Coast, we sort of, Dad and Mom really sort of pioneered camping as we know it today. Today it still has the paved streets, water and electricity. It also has cable TV, telephone service at each site. You name it, it's there. There's golf courses they can play on, Olympic-sized swimming pools, entertainment for the kids, full campground ministry. There's a lot going on there at Lakewood.
And how many acres are there under the right now?
It's around 170 acres.
Is that right?
Between 170 and 175 acres.
So very comparable to any of the ones along the Strand. Much
Oh, yeah.
larger than most.
Well, for transient sites, it's probably the largest. I would say that my neighbor south of me is the largest overall. And but as far as transient campsites, we're probably the largest in the area.
Do you remember your first job at the resort, Don?
My first job at the resort was for everything. I mean, if you were, whether it was putting in water and sewer pipes, water lines, electricity, greeting guests, welcoming guests, building picnic tables, anything that had to do with camping, you did it.
And were other family members working with you at the time?
Well, Lakewood Camping Resort is a family-operated business. My brother Phil, who's deceased now, was in the military when we first started building it. And when he got out of the military, then he pretty much ran Lakewood. My wife Angela and I had left at that time, and we went to Beaufort, South Carolina, to do a development. And then later on, my sister Barbara, she's worked there since she was about 15 years old, and she wouldn't want me to tell you just exactly when that was. My sister Shannon worked there as a young girl and lady. But she now lives away from the beach, but she's very active in the management through the board of directors. My sister-in-law, Gail, since Philip is not with us anymore, is now active in the business. And virtually all the children, except maybe one or two, and grandchildren and great-grandchildren are now becoming involved in Lakewood.
Golly, Don. So the Lakewood Board of Directors has expanded quite a bit, I'm sure.
Well, no, we keep it to full. We can't have too many on that board of directors.
Right. Speaking of another board of directors, we opened up with, you're the founding director of one of the founding directors of Sunbank. How did you get involved in opening a community bank, and where are its offices located?
Well, Dalton Floyd called me one day to see if I was interested in helping to form a community bank. We had served on a board of another bank that had been bought, and we knew that the timing was right for a community bank on the South Strand. And so there came Sunbank. The locations are across from the Waccamaw Hospital in Murrells Inlet on Business Highway 17, on Bypass 17 South. We have a branch in Georgetown, South Carolina. We have a wonderful staff there. We'd love for you to come visit and get a taste of Sunbank hospitality, deposit a lot of money, take a big loan, and certainly come see us at Sunbank.
Yes, Don. Well, obviously our viewers are spread throughout the PD and southeastern North Carolina, but y'all will take deposits, I'm sure, from anywhere.
Sure, we'll be glad to have you.
Right. Wow.
It's a beautiful place.
I'm sure. Well, we'll have to get down there. What about your relationship, getting back to Lakewood Camping Resort, your relationship with the visitors and residents? Have you been able to maintain your relationship over the period of time you've been involved?
Oh, yeah. You've got a lot of people that, in the beginning, you knew everybody pretty much by name. Today, you can't do that. It's just too big. But you do remember a lot of the old people, and you meet a lot of new people that also become real close that you'll be associated with a long time.
How did High Stepin Country become a part of the Lakewood Camping Resort experience?
Well, Lakewood bought the old Magic Harbor lease from the city, and we renamed the park the Lighthouse, a Christian theme park. And at that time, my brother had, Philip, he really enjoyed the theater. And so Phil handled all of the shows. And he's pretty much founded High Stepping Country. And when we sold the Lighthouse, and we just brought High Stepping Country back over to Lakewood, and now his wife and daughters, their children, still maintain High Stepping.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is, and folks come in to see that whether they're staying at the campground or not.
Oh yeah, it's the longest running show in Myrtle Beach.
Is that right?
That's true.
Son of a gun. Speaking of longest running, you all have had a couple of pastors there. The ministry has been such a central focus of Lakewood Camp and Resort. And you have, I think, only 2 pastors since its inception.
Well, we've had 3.
Okay.
We had Ted Ragsdale, and then Jimmy Morris, and then Jimmy went into evangelism, and then Ted came back, and now Ted's in another church, and now we have George Coon and his wife Deborah, and the ministry has really grown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And George and his wife have just been there. They've been there relatively.
Nearly 2 years.
Okay.
Almost 2 years.
So you'd had 2 pastors for a heck of a long time, and then
a long time.
which is fantastic. You surely pass on those traditions. And obviously traditions have tied into y'all's ability to receive some amazing industry recognition awards. Y'all have gotten
we've been blessed.
the RV Park of the Year a couple of years ago and a couple of times.
Yeah. We've had the National RV Award for the nation, and for 2000, 2001. We won the award for the best RV brochure of the year. And we've had best of the beach awards from different places like table tennis clubs that we've helped sponsor in different civic groups.
Right. We've just got a few minutes, Don, but could you share with the viewers, let's say a viewer in Hartsville, if they'd never been to Lakewood, give them a feel of what it's like when they get through the information center and actually get into the 170 plus acres there. What's it like when they're actually driving through? Give them a feel, kind of a virtual tour.
Well, you feel like you just got home, because most of the people have camped at Lakewood before, and you know what I'm talking about. When you drive through the entrance, it's just a big low country type office. It just gives you a pleasant feeling. You'll immediately come up to our golf cart rental place on the right just before you get to the registration desk. You'll go in and you'll come to Lake Perry and pair around to the left and be greeted by the security guards with a pleasant greeting to welcome to Lakewood. As you go across the causeway, our trading post is on the left. We have our putt-putt golf, which is brand new, just a delightful course to play on the left. And then you start coming into the original part of the old campground. A lot of people still like that area because it's so shady and a lot of trees and just a pleasant place. You continue and you come down to where all the activities happen. You have the information center, the arcade, the swimming pools, and best of all, the ocean. The sand dunes are full of sea oats. It's just a beautiful place. We have about a half a mile of ocean front for people to enjoy the beach.
Don, if your parents, Carl and Marion, could see how Lakewood has progressed, how do you think they'd feel? What would they...
I think they would be amazed. I think they would have smiles on their faces and be very happy that it's continued the way that they would have planned, that nothing really changed other than the way some things were done. You've added some rental villas that you didn't used to have, and some more permanent spaces. There's some things that have changed, but I think they would be very pleased with the way that Lakewood has progressed.
And lastly, Don, why do you think you all decided a second year to go ahead and open the doors to the American Heart Association for this 22nd annual Jack Monroe Horseback Ride-a-thon?
Well, the Heart Association, these funds, really, all the funds raised in South Carolina stay in South Carolina. Their goal this year, I think, is to raise $125,000, and they have raised over $100,000 present. And to just be a part of that makes us feel good. We certainly hope that some of those people that are riding the horses will be coming back to camp with us. But it's a thing that we're very excited about doing for the second year.
Absolutely. You heard him say it, you feel like you just got home. And if you got out there day before yesterday or get out there today, of course, tomorrow's the big day. The rides from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. out on the beach. There's nothing like it on the East Coast. He knows his parents would be proud, and they would be if they could see the crowd this weekend. Don, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, too.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to Jack Monroe coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Radisson Plaza Hotel. We're focused on tomorrow's American Heart Association 22nd Annual Jack Monroe Horseback Ride-a-thon. And we're visiting with Jack Monroe. Good morning, Jack.
Morning, Greg.
Thanks so much for being in. It's so amazing to think of all the campers that are, all the riders that are out there already getting ready for tomorrow's ride.
It's going to be the biggest and best yet.
It is. Now, you probably say that every year, Jack.
It has increased every year, Greg.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. The people have a good time, and the ocean is what's their biggest attraction. They come down and ride on that beach, and they go back and tell their people, their friends, and that's what's made the ride increase.
It is amazing.
We do very little advertising. It's word of mouth, and it's increased. You see the size of the ride now.
Oh, absolutely. And to think more than $1 million have been raised, Jack, since you've been involved with the ride 22 years ago, to think about the amazement of more than $1 million, to know you've had your hand in that. It must be humbling at some level.
It is. When we first started, we had no idea that this thing was going to grow like it grew, and the people, I guess, Greg, we've had as many as 22 states or more recognized at the ride.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was talking with Tammy about a week ago, and we had one customer on the phone from Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long way to pull a horse through.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they were excited. I mean, they got it now, so they come down. This is their vacation. They come down and treat it as their vacation.
Well, it was so great hearing Don talk about Lakewood, and it's so exciting for him to have opened the doors a second year. Let's pray it'll be many years to come.
When I just talked to Don a minute when he was leaving, I wanted to hug his neck because without, you know, Myrtle Beach, how it's growing.
Oh, yeah.
Without Lakewood opening the doors, we wouldn't have a ride-a-thon.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly
So
right.
we can't say enough about Lakewood for backing us up and supporting us.
Mm-hmm. After 21 years on the planning seat of the Heart Association's Ride-a-thon, Jack, are you going to be sitting on a different seat on Saturday?
I'm trying to let the new chairman sit back. It's hard for me to keep my 2 cents out of it, but Herman Holmes and the Leon, everybody's involved with it. They're doing a great job, and I'm going to be there, and I might actually get to ride a horse this year.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to ride the bull this year, but I think I'll ride the horse.
Obviously, after 21 years at the helm, Jack, surely this year, and I'm sure every year going forward will be in your recognized for you. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great. It's like you said, it's humbling. And when I first got in it, I got in it because a friend of mine had heart problems. And since I've been in it, you know, I've had 4 heart attacks myself. And it becomes a little bit more important to you once you lay back on your back from a heart attack and you see where the money goes in research. If it wasn't for the research, Greg, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you or sitting here talking to you. So I know it works, and I know where the money goes.
Think back 22 years. Think back about that first event.
First event was in March. It was 32 degrees. We pulled up on the beach. We had about 35 horses. We raised about $3,000 some, and we thought we had a big ride. So, but now it looks like we're going to maybe push 1,000 to 1,200 horses, and that's a big cavalry coming at you.
Golly, Jack, that'll be the biggest crowd ever.
That'd be the biggest ever. Biggest ever. And I hope it's going to be the biggest money ever, too.
I know. Well, you know, rain or shine tomorrow, there'll still be a heck of a lot of folks out there, no matter what happens, and we can never predict the weather even 24 hours away. Obviously, much of your life, Jack's been committed to a state entity, Santee Cooper, that so many folks know. 37 years. You recently retired.
Yep, this past March I retired for 37 years in Santee Cooper. That's another company that, as far as I'm concerned, you couldn't have asked for a better company that participates in the community, to give back to the community. The biggest thing I miss is all my friends. It was like 37 years is like family, Greg. I mean, it's like they family.
What did you do at Santee Cooper, Jack?
I was the revenue protection and credit and collection for seven different offices for the area.
Is that right?
You got called quite a few different names, you know, in that position, but believe it or not, you treat a person like you want to be treated, and most of the time you don't have any problem.
That's exactly right. I'm sure that. Now, what have you branched out into now, Jack, in your retirement?
I don't know whether you ever heard of a company called Prepaid Legal Inc. It's been around for 31 years. It's the fastest growing company on the New York Stock Exchange. Kind of summarize it up for you. Prepaid Legal does for legal bills what hospitalization does for hospital bills. The average person can't sit across a desk with an attorney $200 an hour very long. But the middle class person with prepaid legal, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any rights. And this levels the playing field for the average person out there on the street. It's one of the greatest companies. It's been, like I said, 31 years. We're in all 50 states and Canada. And anybody that don't have prepaid legal, I suggest they need to get prepaid.
Could a viewer contact you to learn more about prepaid legal?
Yeah, they can contact me, and it's 843-340-5627. We have an office, Greg, right down here on 931 North Kings Highway, right across from the Pavilion parking lot.
Give me that number again, 843-340-5627. Okay, so we could even call that getting ready for tomorrow's ride-a-thon. Folks could just check with you, obviously, if they were interested in prepaid legal or
to ride, either one.
Great. That is wonderful. How has that been getting out of Santee Cooper and now having free time? Obviously, you probably don't have as much free time now that you've committed so much to prepaid legal.
Well, the volunteer end of it seems like I don't know how I did what I did when I was working. To be honest with you, I usually get up in the morning at 7, I leave, and I'm back home sometime around 4 or 5. And my wife says she sees me less now than she did when I was working. So I can't tell I'm retired. Number one, I've never seen retirement in the Bible anyway.
That's exactly right. What will be your role, Jack, in future ride-a-thons as we keep going forward? As you pointed out, Herman Holmes and Leon Todd co-chairing this year, and it's so difficult, I know, to keep your hands out of things, and they've enjoyed having you around. My gal, so much you've done.
The biggest thing is to keep an eye on it. As you know, this is my baby. So if anything ever started to go wrong or anything looked like I'm going to protect it every way I can, like an old mother hen, and try to keep my mouth shut and just kind of be there when they need me.
Jack, we got about 4 minutes. What do you think has contributed to the longevity and success of the Heart Association's Horseback Ride-a-thon?
The people in Myrtle Beach, like Lakewood Campground, the city of Myrtle Beach has been great, Greg. They've been terrific. The city council has opened up the beach for us. They kept it open for the horses now. I can't say enough about the city of Myrtle Beach and how they've supported us, and with trash cans, I mean, whatever you need, they're there to help us. And we bring a lot of people in as far as tourists go and money in on this ride to the city. But like I said, they've been real great to us too.
And why do you think it's a special event for everyone who participates?
You see that big old pond they call the Atlantic Ocean out there? That's what it is. And Greg, if you get on a horse and get on that beach, it's like you're in a different world. They come back year after year. I've got riders that's been with me ever since we started the first ride, and they come back year after year, and they enjoy it. They know they're doing it for a good cause, and they loyal. They keep coming.
Give the viewers a sense of some of the things happening tonight and tomorrow. Obviously tomorrow from 8 to 4 out on the beach. That excitement of just being out there, as you said. But some of the things maybe going on tonight.
We got live bands. We've got barbecue. Big D's Barbecue's been with me for years, and they're going to be back with us again this year. We got parades going on from Wednesday when we open up. Wednesday will be the slowest day at noon. From Thursday through the ride, it will be some kind of event going on, and it's open. We love the public to come in too. I mean, come down, see the horses, talk to the riders. get involved, donate to the ride-a-thon, and like I said, we just open it up to everybody.
Jack, what do you enjoy the most about the ride-a-thon?
Seeing everybody have a good time and raising the money for the Heart Association. That's what I enjoy the most. Knowing that the people, when they leave there, they come up to me and say, just them saying thanks, and that means a lot.
Jack, obviously your wife Margot has been such an integral part of making the ride-a-thon a big success over all these years. Will she be there today and tomorrow getting ready for the ride?
Margot will be showing her appearance, Greg. She had surgery and it went bad, and she's been housebound, but the doctor has let her have light duty now. She will be able to come down to ride and spend some time with us. She won't be able to get on a horse this year. But speaking of Margot, she's the woman behind the scenes that's kept me going for the last 22 years. With her support, keeping me encouraged when the weather might be bad or it looks like I always get nervous and uptight, wanting to make sure we're going to make our goals and everything.
Oh, yeah.
She keeps me straight.
What do you think she enjoys the most about the ride, Jack?
She's a people person and a horse person. When you give her a horse and put her around a bunch of people, she's in heaven. I've never seen her meet her stranger. So she just loves people and loves animals.
His wife loves people and animals. Jack loves hitting the goal. The whole goal's 125,000. We may have more than 1,000 folks out there tomorrow riding horses. Rain or shine, you can come down tonight. There's so many activities going on at Lakewood Camp and Resort. Give the resort a call. Obviously, get out there tomorrow, 8 to 4. The ride will be amazing. Jack, thanks so much again for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Don Perry Sr. and the amazing Perry family of Lakewood Camp and Resort, as well as Jack Monroe, the founder of the 22nd annual Jack Monroe Horseback Ride-a-thon, for making today's Carolina People so special.